Today, we're talking about something that's hitting Louisiana families right where it hurts, the gas bill. And for a lot of people served by Delta Utilities, that number on the screen isn't just higher, it feels unrecognizable. Over the past several months, customers across Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and surrounding parishes have reported dramatic spikes. Some saying their bills jumped hundreds of percent since Delta Utilities took over the natural gas system last summer after purchasing it from Entergy. So what's really going on? Is this a rate hike, a cold winter, a corporate transition, or something deeper about how energy works in America right now? Here's what we know. Officials and company representatives point to a perfect storm, a winter that was roughly 41% colder than the year before, a surge in natural gas usage as households turn on heaters, and fuel costs that fluctuate month to month and get passed directly to customers. But that explanation hasn't quieted the frustration. Residents have packed town halls and city council meetings, questioning new billing structures, added service charges, and whether the change in ownership altered how costs show up in their statements. For many households, the shock isn't just the price, it's the lack of clarity. And this is where the story gets bigger than Louisiana. Natural gas used to be the quiet utility, the predictable line item no one talked about. Now it's tied to global markets, extreme weather swings, infrastructure cost, and a shifting energy landscape where every degree drop outside can ripple straight into your bank account. So tonight, we're breaking down what's verified, what's being debated, and what this moment says about the future of energy affordability, not just here, but across the country. Because when your heating bill becomes a headline, it's no longer just a bill, it's a warning light.
Welcome to the Retrospect podcast, a show where people come together from different walks of life and discuss a topic from their generation's perspective. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Stoney.
Hello.
And Jason.
Hello, everyone.
Well, we could close the show after that one. You kind of nailed everything needed to be said in that.
There's a lot more to be said.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of a crazy thing going on right now with all that. Thank goodness I don't have gas.
Well, my point. Okay, wait, hold on.
Okay.
That's not true. Where do we live?
Louisiana.
Louisiana. Red beans and rice and white beans and rice.
Oh, yeah.
This is the last place in the United States of America we should have a gas problem.
Well, you're not
Okay.
lying there.
All right, I'm sorry.
We just got to find a way of piping it.
Hey,
Different
you know,
guys. That's crazy.
Oh,
Well,
man.
well, guys.
Y'all enjoying this cooler weather?
Yes.
Somebody's fixing to go away to some warm weather.
Yes, I am fixing the honeymoon has finally arrived. So we are, this Thursday, actually, we will be heading down south. I mean, like really south.
Yeah.
So yes, we can't wait. It's
That's
exciting, and it's hard to believe that the wedding is past. Thank y'all for coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
we
have everybody we've talked to seems to have enjoyed themselves, and everything went without a hitch.
That's great.
I know Tracy's very happy about it because she was
the stress is
she
over.
thought it was perfect.
If I may, I would like to interject
Yes.
because there was almost an incident.
Uh-oh.
Yes. A couple weeks ago at your wedding, I was reminded of something I did not expect to learn. There was a moment during the ceremony, one of the beautiful sacred stretches, where everyone is standing, sitting, kneeling, standing, sitting. It reminded me of why I have a hard time in the Catholic Church. Nothing against the Catholics, but especially since my accident, I have a real hard time with the standing and the sitting. I really couldn't keep up physically and mentally. It started to adjust my frame, and my body just couldn't cooperate. And right in the middle of one of the prayers, I had my eyes closed, my head leaning on my cane, but I really felt myself start to lose balance badly. And I mean, I'm coming down. And I would have taken the chairs out. I'd have taken the little lady sitting in front of me. And no one really noticed except for one person. And before I could steady myself, Miranda quietly reached out and grabbed my arm. There were no words. There was no attention. Didn't make a scene. Just a hidden strength and presence of Miranda in my life. She didn't fix the moment. She didn't make it about her. She simply held me up. And then that's when it hit me. That's the picture of marriage. Not the highlight reel, not the first dance, not the big celebration, but the quiet grip when one of you starts to sway. So, Jason, as you begin this life with Tracy, it's my prayer for both of you that when one of you is weak, the other is steady. When one of you is tired, the other is watchful. When one of you feels off balance, and I know something about that, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, the other is close enough to notice and strong enough to hold on. Because real love isn't loud. It's faithful, it's attentive, and it's willing to carry the weight without applause. May your marriage be built on that kind of strength, the kind that steadies without shame and support, without spectacle. That's the kind that lasts. And that's what I hope for you and Tracy.
No, that was amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
I'm going to say amen to that. Well, our goal is to we've talked about this and being both religious, spiritual, believers in, we're both practicing Catholics. Our number one goal, and we've said it all along, and this is my view of marriage. The number one goal of your spouse is to help you get to heaven. That's it.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, as a Christian, we believe in eternal life. This life is transit. It will pass, and then we have our eternal reward in the next life. So both of us, our promise to each other was to help each other get to heaven.
Yeah.
And then in doing that, we'll help each other in the temporal ways here on this life as best we can. So that is my thinking of what marriage is. Because I said I'm at my age now. I'll be 57. I'm fixing to be 57 years old.
Yeah.
I'm getting married late in life. So,
according to God, you're getting married right on time.
Well, that's true. I mean, of course, and that's the way I look at it. But I'm just saying, just chronologically speaking, most people are probably getting married a lot younger than me.
Right. Different priorities.
Right. And believe me, I think back on my younger days, and I dated girls during those years, and I could have easily just,
does Tracy know you dated somebody before her?
Oh, yes, quite a bit. I've shared her with her all my going back for many years of my life, and just,
the good, the bad, and the ugly.
The good and bad and the ugly of it, I mean, there was other ones that were in my life that, I thought, oh, this is the one, and then, of course, it all falls apart. And so, but I could have easily, back when I was in my 20s, I remember dating a girl, and everybody I knew was getting married at the time. It's like, just go ahead and do the deal now and start a family or whatever the case may be.
And
but
God slapped you so hard, he knocked the hair off of you.
But I have to say, in my at that point in my life, I had no desire to be married.
Right.
At all. I really didn't.
I'm in the same boat. I have friends of mine that are a couple years younger than me. And they're having kids. They've had multiple kids now, and they had kids
that's the natural thing to do.
Right.
The Cherokee had a really interesting proverb on this, and I know we have a show to do, but let me share this with you. A woman's highest calling is to lead a man to his soul as to unite him with Source, God or Great Spirit.
Right.
A man's highest calling is to protect woman so she is free to walk the earth unharmed. But you have to read into that deeply. Unharmed means spiritually, physically, mentally, all of the above.
Right.
And she's to lead a life that helps him find God. Because no matter what happens, even the Cherokee knew this. When you're the leader of a family, the man is the leader of the family.
Right.
He's the one going to stand before God. He's the one going to be responsible. The woman does not answer for the family. And even the Cherokee knew this.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I think that's pretty interesting. you
Yeah,
know?
I'm a firm believer in that, and as I said, our goal for each other is to help us achieve the eternal reward that all Christians
Yeah.
hope to obtain. I mean, that's the promise, and
Yeah.
so for us, that's our number one goal to each other, and then everything else is second after that, and so. But yes, the wedding is over. I can't believe it's now been a little over a week now, and everybody's congratulating me, and what does it feel like? I'm like, well, it feels good. I mean, it's not like
I have a question.
radically changed. Or
I have a
anything.
question. How many people said it's about damn time?
Yeah. Well, most of my friends were basically telling me that we didn't think you really got, especially my friends that go back to like high school and college.
Yeah.
They were
They're
like,
we didn't think you would
we
do it.
didn't think you would ever get married, Jason. I mean, it's like, well, I always said, even back then, I said, I might consider getting married when I'm around 50. I remember saying that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, look at you.
And here I am.
Fulfilling a prophecy.
I'm fulfilling the prophecy, So yeah, it's
And it's kind of funny. We're talking about relationships and marriage because if gas gets any more expensive or Delta does any more damage to us, we're going to, everybody, the husbands and wives are going to be cuddling pretty good just to keep warm
guys,
now, right?
I'm telling you, this stuff is, now, of course, right now, people that actually utilize natural gas in their homes are experiencing, I mean, some of these bills, from what I've seen, people are, to me, that I don't even know that has to be, something's wrong with that. I mean, to go from $20 and $30 to, I mean, I saw some people saying bills went up to like $460. And I'm sitting there going, how does that even happen? So
they must be running their heater a whole lot.
No, it's doing exactly the same thing.
Okay.
It's exact. And what's funny about the neighborhood that Hottie Doctor and I live in, you're required to have the 2 lamps on the front door that are gas. You can't have electric light bulbs. They must be the gas lanterns. We can't run that now because we don't know what that's going to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just crazy. Somebody's bill, I have one person here said their bill went from $25 to $179. That's a 616% increase. She's 74 and stay at home.
Yikes.
yeah, I mean, people that are on fixed incomes, I mean, I don't know how you can absorb a bill like that. I really.
Well, we asked for some listeners to reach out to us, and we have one that did. May I have permission to read it?
Absolutely, love to hear it.
This is Barbara from Baton Rouge. You asked local listeners to write in about their experiences with Delta, so here I am. I'm a single mother of 3. I don't get any help, so you can imagine I live and die by a tight budget. Entergy selling itself to Delta has been a nightmare. I don't know how I'm going to manage, and I'm honestly afraid that I'll have to decide what bills to pay so I can keep my house warm enough for the kids. My bill was $25 to $60 per month under Entergy. My first bill with Delta doubled it, was $102. By Christmas, it was $180. February was so cold this year, so I'm honestly sick to my stomach about what the next bill is going to be. On top of that, their website is poor. They try every trick to get you to agree to a balanced billing without showing you the actual bill. I don't understand all of the service fees and charges that never existed when Entergy ran things. I feel like it's a scam. I called the Louisiana Public Service Commission and they brushed me off saying gas prices are higher. These fees are not normal! Exclamation mark. They're acting like representatives of Delta and not protecting Louisiana consumers. I'm tired of these companies charging people in Louisiana more for everything. We need a break. I really don't know what I can do at this point.
That's hard to hear.
Well, I'm telling you, even down in the New Orleans area, people are saying, she says, I've been to meetings. This lady was talking about, I've been on the phone with so many Delta representatives, nothing's been consistent. Sunbread resident who told company executives her gas bill increased from $30 to nearly $200 in 3 months. I mean, that's just something's wrong with that. Well, I don't know now. They say they'll come back and say the rising natural gas prices, which jumped 56% last year, are also driven by a burgeoning liquefied natural gas global export market.
Oh, yeah.
They say 1 of 8 operational LNG export facilities in the United States, 6 are in Louisiana, which alone provides more than 60% of all U.S. LNG exports worldwide. I have a feeling what they're doing, they're shipping so much stuff out.
Well, I also read recently they're trying to, I think they're trying to get away from using natural gas. I think so. They're probably trying to incentivize.
Well, we got a couple more here. I wasn't exactly ready to get off of that. We got Jeremy Wilson from Baton Rouge, said his first bill was $15. Then in December, he got a bill for $430.
That's what I saw that figure.
I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah, something's wrong with that.
And then one of the biggest things that people are complaining about, obviously, is the bill, but it's also the customer service when you're trying to deal with Delta. They're asking the same question, when you answer the phone. That's the biggest lie, that they're answering the phones. They tried talking to a supervisor. They said they'd call me back. Still waiting 4 weeks later. So they know they're doing this and they're not engaging people intentionally. I have Miranda's in my bill right here. So I'm going to be one of the complainants of the bill too. Okay. You got $10.71 in customer charges. You got gas charges, $112. Gas services, $46. Purchase gas adjustment, $59.33. Okay, I mean, there's an advanced metering system surcharge rider of 43 cents. Gas infrastructure investment recovery rider of almost $7.
Sounds like a lot of BS.
I mean,
sounds like a lot of BS.
When we were with
to
energy,
me.
Okay, Miranda always paid the gas bill, like during the summer, she would double it. So there was a little kitty at the end for the winter, so it didn't hurt us.
Right.
And I mean, that was for a 4-month period. She had put enough money into that kitty to where it would knock the bill down pretty good for the first 4 months. Got used up in the first month bill. Got used up in the first month bill.
That's sometimes I'm saying.
So you're not even allowed to plan ahead.
And the thing is, like, it happened at the beginning of the year. So I wonder, like, what transitioned.
Well, right now, Delta Utilities is owned by Barnhard Capital Partners.
Well, that is not a private entity. That is a private
entity.
It's
a private equity.
It's not owned by BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. And I was like, damn it, because I was sure going to start swinging at them. But Jim Barnhard, that used to own Shaw,
right?
He's the owner of Barnhard Capital.
Well, he's now passed.
Well, he was the owner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's the one who started that. So whoever is doing that, that's where that came from. And, people are getting charged for having to somebody to go read their meter
Right.
when they have the smart meters. They're still getting charged the actual going out and checking, reading your meter fees for having smart meters. Does that make sense to anybody?
Well, I mean,
and what happened here was this was a decision made in New Orleans that Louisiana, Mississippi, and a couple of other parts around the South are having to deal with by the council in New Orleans swapping to this company. So, like we're talking about all this stuff in California that, Arizona and Nevada are going to have to deal with because oil and gas is leaving California, so their prices are going to go up. Well, guess what? It's happening to us. This decision's made in New Orleans, and now everybody's going to have to pay for it.
Yep.
And my question is, like we've been beating up the FDA and all these, where's the Public Service Commission? How much are they getting back in kickbacks to even allow something like this to happen? They're the ones supposed to be protecting us.
Yeah, they're not, obviously they pretty much allow them to charge customers like that. That's general kind of a principle of theirs. They've always done that. They said right now we're looking at costs of natural gas. And a report published this month, the U.S. Energy Information Agency projects natural gas prices could rise another 25% by the end of 2027. So it's not anytime soon.
No, yeah.
This is
like
going
I said,
to even go up higher.
I could be wrong, but I think that they're trying to get away from using natural gas. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of this is like incentives to get away from it. Like, if you
But
can't.
here in Louisiana, when the hurricanes came,
I know.
you always had your natural gas. You could have still at least cook your food.
Right. And what I'm saying is, like, on the whole, as like the United States government is, I think, trying their best to like step away from some of it to go towards more renewable stuff potentially. So I'm not saying that I'm just saying this could be, I think we're experiencing it on like a more local scale, but I think there's bigger things at play that are making it harder for us. And they're not looking at like what it, they don't know what it's like whenever we go through a hurricane.
Well, for Louisiana oversight,
yeah,
the Louisiana Public Service Commission, LPSC, regulates all of this. So when you see this bill, you have to understand that all rates must be approved before they can be charged to customers. Infrastructure upgrades are reviewed. Storm recovery costs often require regulatory approval, and profit margins, allowed return on equity, are set by the commission. So all of these things got approved by the commission.
Okay.
They did.
That's what I'm saying. I know they did because that's what the Louisiana Public Service Commission is about.
Right.
So they
and what do they know? What are they not telling us? Like, why did they approve that? Because you got to know that if they approved it, they're like, people are going to hate this. People are going to mob against this.
Well, everybody keeps saying, well, there's such a great risk in the hurricanes. Okay. Has anybody here done any type of construction?
I've done like home renovation, but not like construction.
Okay. Where are all the gas pipes?
Talking about for like new construction at houses?
No. When it's going into your neighborhood.
You're talking
When
about
it's going into your neighborhood, where are the gas pipes?
In the ground?
Thank you. How much is your hurricane really going to hurt the ground? Why do you think all the neighborhoods that have underground electricity still have power? Because if it's not up in the air, the hurricane's not really going to affect it, is it?
Right.
So what hurricane damage risk do you have for gas? Every time there's a hurricane, people are still cooking their food on the gas. When the refrigerators and the freezers are defrosting because you got no electricity, people are out in their yards cooking the gas, cooking on gas.
Yep.
Well, according to a statement that the company put out, they say gas consumption surged across our operating footprint by 145% in those months, said Sarah McLaughlin Porteous, a vice president of communications for Delta Utilities.
And that magically happened the day they took over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just curious
Okay, I
mean,
call bullshit.
We've had bad winters when energy had it, but that
Thank
didn't
you.
exist.
Exactly
We had a bad
my
winter
point.
last year.
Yes.
We had snow.
We had snow. Yes.
Well,
Yes.
this purchase was finalized in July of last year.
Right.
Is when this purchase was finalized
Right.
between energy.
So
and,
magically, the day they took over, all these gas prices went up this much. I call bullshit.
Well, no, I mean, I wouldn't say that. They took over in July, and I think everyone's bill's been normal up until January this year.
well, according
was that July's bill? Or was that this?
Let me see here.
Because I can speak from personal. I have my own numbers right here, and I was paying literally $20 up until January. So Delta has been doing okay, has been keeping things normal, I think, for just long enough until it's like, okay, now we're in effect of the new year. Let's hike it up for whatever reason.
Well, this is a statement from the Public Service Commission that regulates, rates and these kind of things in the state of Louisiana. Because we are aware of the issue and have been in contact with Delta to ensure there have been no discrepancies or unauthorized rate increases. We requested 2024 data to compare with 2025. And after reviewing this information, one of the issues is that we have experienced a colder November and December this year.
Bullshit.
Couple that with the price of natural gas increasing from last year, which is a direct pass-through to customers, meaning Delta does not make any profit off the cost of natural gas.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about.
Many customers are seeing higher bills due to more usage. Also, Delta customers who were previously with Energy Gas are now seeing a separate gas bill for the first time. Delta itemizes its bills to increase transparency with its customers on what they are being billed for, which has caused customers to see charges that were once bundled together with energy. We will continue to monitor any systematic complaints and get to the bottom of the causes. That was Commissioner Jean-Paul Cousin.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I wonder if that's what I'm talking about the natural gas prices going up and being passed straight through to us. It's not it probably is a Delta utility thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what a lot of what we're seeing is going straight from.
And look, I'm not.
Okay, your bill cannot go up. One customer 612% because they're itemizing your bill.
No.
Okay, if they're itemizing
Yeah.
your bill, the bill would be the same. Their transparency is just telling you this is where your money's being spent.
I think that the commissioner's trying to cover his bases by saying I think the thing I think he's covering his bases for is we've experienced a colder November, December, so you're probably seeing some increase there.
More people are cranking the heaters
which
up.
is probably not 100% false. And again, he's like, there is some transparency where like there is, as far as like the itemized list or whatever. But I think that probably the majority is that they can't control is that natural gas is more expensive from the source. And we're eating that cost. And I think that's something we haven't had to do potentially. I could be wrong, but.
Well, as I said, now, this touches on what's going on worldwide too with natural gas, and so you can't just kind of isolate it. There's all kind of factors probably involves some of this is going, which to me prompts me to kind of wonder why did Energy want to sell this.
Probably because they didn't want this.
Exactly. I think what's happened is they foresaw what the price of natural gas was going to do.
This time last year,
and they were probably like, what? The way we need to probably find a buyer to take this on because we're going to take a hit.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if the price of natural gas at the market which they buy it in bulk, if it goes up, they're passing that cost on to you.
Yep.
To the customer.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to eat that.
And we don't want to be the bad guy.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll
they said he goes, Porteous explained why customers might be seeing an increase in monthly payments this winter. This is her statement, we work to minimize costs through advanced purchases of natural gas when prices are typically lower, but there have been recent increases in market natural gas prices. Those are reflected in customer bills, so we want to make sure they're aware of that, Porteous said. Porteous said Delta doesn't see a dime from those fees.
Interesting. I wonder. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people, what I've heard, and this is kind of what I suspect, I think Delta Utilities is trying to make up for the purchase through raising fees.
Oh, that's probably it too. Yeah.
I think that's a very reasonable assumption that I would think, okay, Delta or Barnhart Equities, when they bought this from Energy, they spent a bunch of money. Now we need to make that money up.
Yep.
And we have a captured base of people
who can't go anywhere.
Yep. It's a captured market.
Yep.
And so you're ultimately, in these situations, you ultimately are relying on the Public Service Commission in the state of Louisiana. In other states, it may be different. But in this state, it's governed by the Public Service Commission, and they obviously approved it.
Yeah.
So,
it's kind of like the banks. How do banks make money? They lend money, they make
charge
interest.
Right.
Okay, a lot of that doesn't come back. So what do? They charge fees. So they're just using the banking industry thing. Let's just charge fees. What can they do? Not use their gas? They're going to pay their fees. What do the banks say? You're not going to use the bank? You're going to pay the fees.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to get you one way or the other.
One way or the other.
Lord, I know. I did my taxes this past this week, and I end up owing. Now I owe the federal government. I've never owed the federal government. I owe them now.
Oh, why is that?
Oh yeah, it hit me pretty good.
No.
I think I've got a $3,000 bill. Oh yeah,
because you retired and working.
Is that right?
$3,000 I owe the feds.
No.
I've never in my life.
But at least now you're married. And you can file your taxes a little differently.
That next year will be different. But yeah, I mean, they hit me hard. So.
Was that why? Because you retired and then went back to work? Did they?
I guess they. Well, okay. I noticed in my W-2 that for the new job that I'm in right now.
Right.
I noticed that the amount of federal taxes they took out did not match the tax bracket that I'm in.
Interesting.
Because I'm in the 24% tax bracket.
Yeah.
And basically the person that I was doing my tax, because that's your problem right there. It's just,
you need to get more money taken out.
I said, I mean, they're not even pulling 10%.
Oh, wow.
Of which to me, I need to figure out what's wrong because I've always claimed zero.
The same, yeah.
So they're taking out the max.
The only time I've ever owed a whole bunch
was... which kind of blows my mind why it was so low. I need to deal with at work. The
only time I've ever had I've ever owed taxes is for the same reason, is that whoever had me in their system, like my employer, didn't have me as like single and none. I think they gave me some. And so they weren't taking the most amount, and I was like, that's not.
They've always raped me. I mean, most of my life because the only write-offs I've ever had were charities.
Yeah,
that I gave money to, and then my home. Right, I mean, that's it.
Yeah. So we can't claim 40 million illegal immigrants as dependents.
No, can't do that. No. But just FYI on the Delta Utilities stuff here, they did roll out a new program that kind of helped. They said utility provider announced this week. Now, this was an article dated at the end of January of this year. The utility provider announced this week that eligible households can receive a one-time credit up to $250 applied directly to their natural gas bill every 12 months. The program, managed in partnership with United Way, uses ALICE, Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed, data to determine eligibility based on income and family size.
Wow.
So, I mean, they are trying to at least
do something.
But I don't really know. I don't know if
that's enough.
If that's going to help.
No.
Look, and me as somebody that doesn't have gas, I just have electricity in my house.
Right.
This is going to affect me too, because as gas prices, because of 70% of these plants use natural gas
Oh yeah.
to generate electricity. So, I mean, ultimately, I'm going to see probably something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure energy is going to. I mean, well, I don't have energy. I have a company called Demco.
Right.
But I mean, they're all buying their power
Oh yeah.
from the same
Same place,
things
yeah.
that it's coming from. So, yeah, I mean, so I don't know. This is a man. I tell you what, I don't know what I'd do if I felt like I was not only get my electric bill, then you can get another
Yeah.
gas bill that's $200 and $300. I mean, that's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
I just, I'm very reluctant to. It's easy to sit and say, "Well, blame the Public Service Commission
Right.
or blame the." Maybe they are telling the truth. Maybe it is the natural gas because of other forces that at one time were not present that are now present is now affecting these deals. And I mean, we all heard here in Louisiana about all these LNG projects. I mean, that they've been talking about that for years. And I just think ultimately, I think that affects availability.
Yeah.
Which makes it more expensive.
Right.
Whereas if you're not shipping a bunch of liquefied natural gas overseas,
Yeah.
you got a ton of it here by you, and it makes it plentiful and cheap.
Right.
Should be plentiful and cheap for us.
Yeah.
And it should be plentiful and cheap for us before we ship it out.
Well, they'd say, well, guess what? So I've been watching on the news. They had a major nor'easter hit the East Coast.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I mean, like 30 inches of snow, and it's like massive storm. That's all they've been talking about.
That's not true. Global warming and climate change. All the libtards are saying this is, the Earth is warming.
They'll say that global warming it doesn't necessarily mean the Earth is getting warmer. Or I should say, it is getting warmer because of what we're doing, which then makes these wild weather patterns happen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but the largest ice growth in how many thousands and thousands of years in Arctic and Antarctica are happening now? Yeah, okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily believe we're affecting the climate. I think
I don't
the
either.
climate has always been this and that. It just the thing is, we're just happen to be here. I mean, I have to think back during the Ice Age when our ancestors were trudging through the tundra.
Yeah.
I would think when there were, walking
proven-
around with woolly mammoths
Well,
that
that's what I
they
was
were
gonna say.
freezing to death then.
They've proven that the dinosaurs created more CO than we do with our cars.
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of
Well, you got to think about that. What did they eat? A lot of plants.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does that mean? They fought it a lot.
Yeah, they did. And then when they got wiped out, they made a lot of oil.
Well,
They made a lot of oil.
Yep.
That's why there's a lot of oil in the Gulf of America. There's a lot of oil in Texas and Louisiana, and Oklahoma. In that part, and if you look at how things probably drained,
Yeah.
if you start buying into some of these, theories that, how things happened and that a lot of animals got washed out that way, but it could be just tons of them were dumped in what would become the Gulf, and they just got buried over millions of years and stuff like that. So, yeah. Yeah, it said gas heat can triple MCF usage month to month. So even a small per unit increase feels like a financial asteroid.
Yeah.
So right now in Louisiana, just some stats here real quick. Typical total gas cost is $11 to $12 per MCF. I don't know what MCF stands for. I'm sure it's some unit of measure.
Well, the raw natural gas is by million British thermal units. So it's measured, dollars per British thermal units, million thermal units. And right in January, it was 772 per million British thermal units. In December, it was 426. In November, it was 379. In October, it was 319. September, it was right around $3. The average in 2025 was 352. The average in 2024 was 219. So 2024, apparently the gas took a nosedive.
Right.
I think
And
MC,
before, actually, not to interrupt you, I'm sorry.
you're good.
In 2022, it was 645. But we didn't see these spikes like this in 2022 in gas, so I'm calling bullshit again. And then in 2021, the average is about 389. So
Yeah.
I was just curious over the last 5 or 6 years what the gas prices were, but it's MMBTU, so it's million British thermal units is how it's measured, I guess, when it's coming the delta.
How they meter it.
MCF is the same thing. So M is 1,000 cubic feet.
Okay.
So MM is a million.
A million cubic feet. So it's $11 to $12 per million cubic feet.
Yeah. And then there's CCF, which is 100 cubic feet. So.
Okay. The irony of all this is an interesting twist is that Louisiana sits on massive natural gas production while local bills rise. A classic case of global LNG markets colliding with local regulated monopolies. When export demand spikes, local distribution customers feel it even though the gas comes from their own backyard.
Wow.
Energy markets don't care about geography. They care about price signals.
Interesting.
So that's kind of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We do have a ton of it that's sitting on,
Right.
in
But it's
in
not all
Louisiana.
promised to us.
But it's not all promised to us. It's promised to other people in
Yeah.
other parts of the world. So, it's kind of the nature of now the international business world that we live in now. So, yeah,
Wow.
we are.
I watched a video recently from Hank Green about natural gas stuff, and I want to rewatch it now because I'm curious.
What do you mean, Hank Green?
He's like a YouTube guy who does a bunch of
Okay.
like science type content stuff and things about that. And I remember it was probably a few months ago. I watched a video about natural gas and the mining of it and how there's other gas that comes out of it that we don't really use for anything, but we still harvest it, and there's regulations on burning a certain amount of it, and
Right.
and how much. Anyways, I it's been a while since I watched it, but now that we're talking about this, it's made me think about it again. Where I was like, oh, I want to go watch that video again because that may be, I don't know.
Yeah, they
Curious.
say residential monthly customer charge proposed to rise from $24 to $33.60, which is about a 40% bump.
Wow.
And consumption rate proposed from $5.25 to $6.60 per million cubic feet, which is about another 25%
Yeah.
increase. So it doesn't take much
Yeah.
for you to feel it in the bill. I mean,
I
it
bet.
really doesn't. So,
And we got another cold snap coming through.
well, yeah,
Better be careful.
yeah,
Run that heater a little less than I guess.
yeah. We're. I mean, it's until winter's passed.
Yeah.
But some parts of the country really gripped in a lot of cold right now. I mean, it's cool down here, but
Yeah.
we don't really have to deal with that too much here. Thank goodness.
I
We
wonder.
deal with heat, but
Oh, yeah.
it takes a lot more energy to generate heat
Yes.
than it just does to power
Yeah,
an air conditioner.
Right.
During the heat of the day.
Mhm.
So
My biggest utility bill has always been my power bill because of the AC here. The two things that show up the most on mine have always been my air conditioning unit and my washer and dryer. I can visibly see the difference in whatever I don't run the AC a lot and when I be conservative on washing clothes and things like that. But
I'd like to know what prompted the sale. That to me is where I think the interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised if
the interesting story is why did energy? Can someone
Yes.
Google that?
I wonder.
See what Google has to
Let's
say.
see.
Maybe any articles that kind of maybe predate this event. That maybe what was energy thinking about wanting to unload that? I just find it strange.
It says that this is the overview. So again, this may not be 100% factual, but it says that, or this may be like the PR statement. Energy sold its natural gas distribution business to Delta Utilities in July 2025 for approximately $484 million in cash.
That's not very much.
To sharpen its focus and on expanding its core electric utility operations. The strategic move allows energy to invest in a cleaner, more resilient energy future, utilizing the proceeds to repay debt and fund capital investments in growing electric business. So they're more focused on
the electric side.
So they're investing more, and this is what I'm talking about. I think that there is regulations that are pushing away from natural gas to use more electric. So I wouldn't be surprised if they are seeing the money move in that direction.
Now I'm beginning. Something is starting to connect some dots with me right now.
Uh-oh.
Because of an article that I saw today. They're projecting to build 3 more AI data centers.
There you
in
go.
North Louisiana.
Yep.
$10 billion.
And you better believe energy's on top of
investment
on that electric use.
And guess what? They require a lot of electricity. Now I'm beginning to wonder, okay, let me shed this off because we need to focus on building more electric power.
We got some big customers.
We gotta be able to run these data centers. You may want to pull that up in the latest news. Governor Landry made an announcement that these are Amazon data centers.
Okay.
And literally the article just hit today.
Let's see. New data centers.
And they're all in North Louisiana.
Of course.
Probably got a lot more land.
Oh, Amazon selects Louisiana for $12 billion data center campuses in major U.S. expansion. Projects is expected to create 540 on-site new jobs and support an additional 1,700 in community overall. Blah, blah, blah. Shreveport, Louisiana. Yeah, so there's that
I-20 corridor is going to be I think the AI tech area. And I'm not saying those things could maybe spawn off other businesses from that.
Amazon is making a long-term commitment to Louisiana because our state delivers prime sites, strong infrastructure, and a skilled, hardworking workforce ready to support the next generation of technological innovation, says Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry. Investments of this magnitude put Louisiana at the center of operations relied on across the country and connect our communities to jobs that power how Americans live and work and do business.
I worry about the after effects of that. I think because of the power requirements, I can see now that utility bills are going to rise for Louisiana residents. I hate to say that because you're excited for one thing that you're having outside investment coming in and providing some high paying jobs for people,
right?
Which is what you want,
right?
But at the same time, I think as a byproduct of that, I think unless you ramp up power plants that can produce electricity, which we all know about how hard it is to build plants in this country now.
Yep.
Whereas at one time we build them right and left.
Yeah.
It just seems like between trying to get the permits and you're dealing with EPA, and I'm not saying that's not important. It is important because you want to make sure you're not destroying your environment.
Of course.
But at the same time, we should be throwing up power plants right next to these data centers.
Yes.
To be able to kind of where you're not gonna have to deal with this stuff because
and the people who are building the data centers should have to pay for this.
100%.
Not us.
Yes.
And that's not what's happening.
No, and that's what worries me is because what happens is the grid's going to get overloaded, and then when you're going to have to start doing brownouts or even blackouts.
That's already happening in California.
And that's what kind of worries me right now about that. So, while part of me is excited, a part of me is...
We're going to have to protect the data center from getting hot, so you're going to have to shut your electricity off to protect our...
Exactly. So
somebody shuts my AC down in the middle of the summer, I'm out.
To me,
What are you going to do?
You better get some fans.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do.
A battery-powered fan because that's...
There's no way.
That's all you're going to have. But, we got to deal with that. I mean, that's a distinct... possibility that you're going to see a rise in electricity prices because
the lowering, there's also a mass lowering of solar panels. I'll start loading them boys up.
I mean, look, I'm not opposed to people who put solar panels on their roofs. But, hey, I mean, if I can generate my own electricity, it's not means you're not going to be still not going to be charged.
Oh, I know.
I mean, it's...
But I'm just talking about...
California's charging people on their electric bills for not using electricity. Now California is passing laws that if you use an electric vehicle and you aren't buying gasoline, which they get their taxes from, you're being charged a non-gasoline usage tax.
Well, I think California's got some problems they're going to have to deal with. I'm not one to... I don't know that state has done. They just do some goofy things, and it's unfortunate because they got a lot of good, hardworking people there. Mm-hmm. It's just unfortunately it's run by the loons over there, and it's just they keep voting for the same stuff over and over again. I saw something they're going to pass. They've passed a wealth tax, so now people are just going to leave. I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, it's just. People are going to live in areas where they feel like I ain't paying 60% of my paycheck between federal, state, local taxes. I mean, because that's ultimately what it comes down to.
Well, somebody figured out if you make $1 million in New York and you use Mondami's plan, after taxes, you'll make $150,000. Wait, what?
And for some people, they would say, well, that's enough money for you. For the other side of the political argument, you would say, or people say, well, if you can't live on that, there's something wrong with you. I mean, that's just the argument. That's where we're at right now. You've got a bunch of people that are utterly dependent upon the government, and the idea of going out there creating my own wealth in a legitimate, legal way is just not there. It's just not there. But I mean, we're going to have to start building power plants. And I hope that the state that they do approve and get power plant construction up and going again. And that was, I think we have to do that. I know nobody likes building plants, but we got to get back to that. If you're going to,
we need to start looking at nuclear again.
Well, there's a lot of people that I saw an article about nuclear plants and cancer rates around nuclear plants.
That's not true. Yeah. And then the next thing is the waste disposal. Okay. If you take Tiger Stadium from the end goal line to the end goal line to the two wide lines, okay, that's the space you're looking at. If you take all of the nuclear waste that's ever been created from all of the nuclear plants and you start at the back goal line, okay, you got the goal line where the touchdown is, and you start on the back goal line and you lay every one of those canisters of waste, how many times do you fill up Tiger Stadium?
I have no idea.
Take a guess.
Not even half.
You don't even make it to the 22-yard line.
Because they use those for the fuel rods, I believe.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. If you take those and you stack them, You don't even make. So what do they complain?
Look,
And they also have ways of like, and it's one of those things that it's because it's the same thing that's been going on for years. The big oil and big gas industry wants to hold on
there
to
it
it,
is,
so they
baby.
keep scaring
we'll kind of talk about some of this on next
yeah.
episode.
Yeah, but anyways, I think
It's kind of funny how all this ties into each other.
100%. Yeah, follow the money. We've been talking about that for months now. I feel like
You know what? You want to build the nuclear plant. You want to put your data center here. You build the nuclear plant, and you provide electricity to the people around you.
Yeah.
Well, to me, they need
That's the
they
price
need to
of
build.
putting
They
one
need
up.
to build a nuclear plant somewhere in central North Louisiana, and that way you would have.
Isn't that St. Francisville?
No,
That's central Louisiana, isn't it?
no, that'd be up to the north of Alexandria.
Oh, a little further north.
Yeah, I'm
okay, I see what
talking
you're saying.
about-
A little further north than that.
Somewhere, because that's where all those AI data centers seem to be. I know one is being built in the St. Francisville area, but I think some of these ones that Amazon just mentioned, I know one.
If they're building it in St. Francisville, they want to tap off of the nuclear plant.
They're going to need to build a plant. I know it takes forever to build
yeah.
plants.
Regulations
It seems like China. It seems like China throws them up, like Legos. But we seem to have so many problems just building things today. I don't know how in the world we function, but that's the case may be. But once again, as I said a few episodes back, we are inadvertently building. We are building
our own doom.
Our own. We're laying the infrastructure for the AI world. I don't think we understand that yet. I think there's a lot of unknowns with that. Some people say it's doom and gloom. Others say, well, it's not as bad as what they think. And
I'm just calling it Skynet because you remember the last episode you were talking about the nunchucking robots. Did you look that video up?
I did not.
They actually had to cut the pants off of one of them to prove that it wasn't a person inside the suit, and they started fighting amongst each other too.
I saw that Amazon is going to be implementing air delivery to residents.
They've already done that. They've been doing that in like San Francisco.
Doing
No, I'm
little
talking
drones,
about the drones.
Yeah, they've been doing that.
Can you imagine a drone showing up at your house? I'm gonna tell you what, these drones are just.
Oh yeah.
I mean, right now, I know this is completely off topic, but what's been going on, what happened in Mexico with the assassination of that drug lord, and then what's been happening, I had no idea the amount of drone incursions that the Mexican cartels have been pushing into other cities.
Yep.
They're strapping bombs to them. Oh yeah, it's pretty serious. I think
the drones were coming across
into
America, and then we started shooting them down.
I think the U.S. military is. I think things are fixing to break down in that. I think that country. I think we're.
Well, you know what? The next war is probably going to happen on the sand. Send the military down to the border and let them practice. Oh, look, a drone.
So yeah,
who can shoot that one?
I just, but it's kind of off topic.
Instead,
and maybe we can talk about that another weekend.
Hold on. Yeah. And when the fighter pilots they shoot down 5 planes to get ace.
Yeah,
you can get a little ace sticker on your helmet. There, you shoot down 5 drones, you get a little drones. Drone ace.
Yeah, it's but we're the AI world. I think it seemed like Louisiana is going to be a major player.
Yep.
And in the data center situation, which is going to bring issues that I hope that some people are not looking at the short term, look at the long term, and understand. Okay, there's going to be consequences. There's always there's unavoidable things that by doing something you create another chain of events.
But they don't look at that. They look at how's this going to affect my pocket. Politicians, the service commissions, everybody wants to know how's this going to affect my pocket now. Look at what was that town that just arrested 356 public officials for corruption?
Well, that's crazy. I don't know. It's just people can't do the right thing.
No, they can't. Public Service Commission is for us. The FDA is for us. You look at the FDA and what they've allowed and how many reports of FDA officials in the meat packing plants taking money to let stuff go. Back when journalism was real and they were finding this stuff out for reals.
Right.
It's crazy.
I saw something regarding, before we close out, I was wanted to mention that there is I can't seem to find it now, but Delta provided a phone number.
Okay.
That nobody can reach. That's what I said in here. Yeah, they provided a number to answer questions, and nobody can get anybody on it.
Of course. Well, because it's probably being overloaded right now.
Can y'all find that number? I don't remember where. Maybe I missed it here.
I have their customer service number. I'm not sure if that's the one or not, but you want me to say it?
Yeah, please do.
1-833-335-8299. In case you
Yeah. So
yeah.
For people that need to try to get this, but I don't, be honest with you, I think people are just gonna I think people are just screwed. Because what do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to either pay the bill or they're going to cut you off. So
right.
Take your pick.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
you got no choices.
Thank you all for your personal accounts we had asked for. It was really cool to hear from people. Sorry to hear that so many people are suffering from this, but I think we're going to probably see what's happening on the other side. If you would like to get in touch with us in any other way, we have comment sections on Spotify or on YouTube that you can reach out to us, or we have the email address, getoffendedtogether@gmail.com, where you could also let us know what you think. Subscribe or like on all the platforms you listen to us on. We really appreciate it. And until next week, thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone, and God bless.
If natural gas prices keep climbing, we may have to go old school. Turn the thermostat down. Turn the affection up. Boomers call it conserving. Gen X call it survival. Millennials call it sustainable living. Whatever you call it, hugging is still free. Snuggling does not require regulatory approval. And body heat has 100% domestic chain. So if your gas bill spikes next month, maybe the answer isn't panic. Maybe it's a blanket, a spouse, and a little less complaining. Because love may not fix your utility bill, but it will keep you warmer than arguing about it. You're the best. Peace.